So Peter, there's also a story about a pink Harrier. Can you tell us about this?
Yes. We did a squadron exchange with the French Air Force at Dijon. They were flying Mirage IIIs, and their squadron symbol on the fin of their Mirage was a swan. And I think it was the penultimate evening, one of our ground crew painted a caricature Harrier behaving badly on the back of this swan, which we thought was rather good. The French appeared totally nonplussed by it, so they stood in their hangar, Gauloise in mouth, under the Défense de Fumée sign. Not much reaction, so we thought, oh well, never mind. That night we put on a farewell party for them, and a couple of the pilots came in slightly late and were clearly a little bit agitated, but we didn't think anything of it. And the next morning was a grey, drizzly, miserable morning. And we were in this minibus driving down to the flight line. And as we were driving down the flight line, there was the two-seat Harrier, which we thought was G-VTOL. G-VTOL in those days was in Middle East camouflage.
Right.
Presumably on a sales push, I don't know. And we thought, what's G-VTOL doing here? And as we got closer, we realised it wasn't G-VTOL, it was our two-seat Harrier. And the French had painted it pink and white all over. Wow. They'd obviously had some inside assistance, because all of the static vents and the other things which would need to be covered for a paint job like that had been.
Oh, God.
So they'd had a little bit of assistance. And I was programmed to fly it back to Wittering. And I assumed that the squadron commander would say, right, take your pictures, I now want 1 million Frenchmen on that, turning it green again. And he said, no, he says, we'll fly it back pink. So I said, well, presumably you'll be flying it back pink. He said, no, we'll fly it as programmed. So I had to fly it back to Wittering. We had our USAF exchange pilot in the boot. And when we got to Wittering, the weather at Wittering was terrible. So the radar approaches. And for some reason, the station commander was up in the tower watching the recovery. Station commander and I hadn't got on hugely well up to that point, not for flying reasons, for other reasons. I landed on the easterly runway. One squadron was parked off the eastern end of the runway. So it was land on the runway, slow down, taxi in, 30 seconds, come to a halt. And as I came to a halt on chocks, the station commander's car screeched to a halt in front of me. And I thought, oh dear. And sure enough, when he saw me get out of the aeroplane, he was convinced that this was all of my doing. And honestly, my lud, I'm innocent, it wasn't me.